why are the pyramids never mentioned in the Bible?
You never thought of that, did you?
I never did until someone told me.
You never thought of that, did you?
I was like, shit.
Yeah.
That's kind of, Egypt is kind of mentioned a few times.
Did you know that the Ark of the Covenant's dimensions are the exact dimensions of the sarcophagus in the king's chamber?
Whoa. Thank you so much, Tyler, for making it in your schedule to come be a guest on my podcast. We talked a little bit about what you're gonna be doing with your hair, but let's just quickly just run through this so we can get to the good stuff.
Yes, please. 1.5.
Okay.
Fade. I've been playing around with the fade heights.
Yeah.
It's been kind of fucking with me a little bit.
Okay.
But I like a little more squared style up here, because if I go rounded, it just makes me look kind of wonky with my beard. So and then on the top, I really don't do much to the top. It kind of just does its own thing. This is not even really styled. I kind of just throw it back and hairspray it. So just maybe a little trim on the top, not too much length off of it, because it's at a pretty decent one right now. But straightforward, man.
All right.
I'm an easy guy.
Question. I don't really feel like using clippers on your hair.
Okay.
Because clippers, what they do is that if you imagine you had a lawn and your lawn had bumps in it, and the lawnmower is only going over the bumps.
Yeah.
So if your head comes out, it's just following the shape of your head.
Yeah.
But if you had bumps in your lawn and you went through with the weed whacker, you'd be able to make it look straight.
Yeah.
That's scissors.
Okay.
So I would be able to go through it maybe this part has to get a little shorter, but it's going to give you that squareness that you're looking for.
I'm
down for that?
Yeah. That's good.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
And it's also less noisy for the camera.
Sweet.
So it serves two purposes.
All right.
And then the top will be pretty
straightforward.
You do got some hairspray.
I do have a little.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's for my my morning sanity.
Dude, I
wake up and it is
try handling this. I wake up and I feel like Sideshow Bob or some shit like that. I'm like, what's going on?
I can't even start my day properly. I'm like, water.
I just pull it up and I'm like, all right, we're going with the top now. Everyone's like, really? And I'm like, dude, having long hair is so much easier. It's for a guy, it's either you want it long where you just pull it up and it's over, or it's so short that when you wake up, it looks fucking cool.
Yeah. But my girlfriend's been trying to get me to grow my hair out long for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
I can't get past the point where it's the shitty part where you're it looks just wonky.
Yeah.
I can't get past that point. It's people ask me, how do you grow a beard? I'm like, just grow it, dude. You know? I can't do that.
I don't think I'd be good to have a beard. It's so itchy. It drives it. I did the No Shave November once and I got it long enough that I could put a comb in. And I was like, ooh. But then it was driving me crazy. And as soon as December 1st hit, I think I stayed up extra late that night. So it was 12:01. Just so on the first, I was like, oh.
Get it off.
And I went to sleep just rubbing my face like a cat. Oh, this is so good.
Dude,
this is so great.
You think it would hold moisture in too? It's the driest part of my entire face. My beard is just a fucking desert, and I put oil in and moisturize and all this. I'm
you got to get one of those exfoliating scrubs.
That's what I've been. Yeah.
You could probably get the ones that you use on your head. They have the little silicone little rubber bits.
Yeah.
And I would do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can give something a shot. This is the first January where I've been almost every day. I'm like, oh.
All right. Let's get this on real quick.
Cool. Actually clipped it into my beard and poked it out, and it actually worked. I had to get it so far out that it wasn't touching any hair, but I just had this mic sticking out of my face. I did it for the lore though. I had to. Is it a mic that you could have plugged a lav in? Yeah.
Dude. Have you seen the ones that they have that go on the ear like this?
Yes, yeah.
I've thought about that,
dude.
For me, for doing this, but then I look you look kind of weird. But if you're climbing and moving, it may be better to
That's the one.
If I was climbing in Egypt, I would totally.
I mean, I knocked it off a whole bunch of times too. I was I did not anticipate a lot of the things that I was going to encounter there, so I just had to kind of do it on the fly, you know.
All right. So what we've learned about you so far, Tyler, is that you have trouble with your fades, your beard gets itchy and dry, and you've been to Egypt. So, Tyler, What is it that you do, and why do I find it awesome? And that's why you're here. That's what we need to discuss.
Okay. I do a lot of things. Right now I'm primarily doing social media.
Okay.
But I'm also a musician. I write books. I make videos. A video producer, music producer. I would say my main thing right now is BassForge. It's
BassForge.
Yeah,
what does that mean?
Media.
Where did the name BassForge come from?
So I didn't initially want to do the stuff that I'm doing now. I made BassForge because I'm a bass music producer.
Okay.
And so I made these templates that people could buy and basically deconstruct and like remix and it's like an easier way to learn production than just doing a course.
Okay.
And so that's initially what I did because I used to do high-rise window cleaning before that. And during the events of 2020, that kind of just imploded. And so I had to I had to pivot. And I was already doing music and I loved it because Austin. And that was like my next business move. I was like, I want to do something in music. And so I started making those templates and they were doing pretty well. And so I got on social media and made a video about how speakers work just because I was like, what content do I make for this, to get it out there? And that blew up. And I was like, okay, well, maybe I just need to explain more stuff. And so I explained a couple more things with music, and then it got into like waves, like just like physics stuff. And I branched out into that, and I was like, okay, people are still vibing. And then I started talking about what I really wanted to talk about, which was like weird esoteric shit and ancient history and consciousness and all that good stuff. So that's where we're at.
Okay, so yeah. BassForge is one of the premier pages on Instagram and accounts where you talk about all things cool and ancient. I would even put it into conspiratorial.
Yeah, I get lumped in there a lot.
But not conspiratorial like who shot JFK.
Yeah.
More like are the Anunnaki who we believe they were, or were these just like imaginary gods that some people think about, like polytheistic religions like Zeus and Prometheus and stuff like that. Yeah, like were these things real or were they figments of their imagination?
I try to take it more like realistic, not realistic, but like because it's really hard to make that stuff realistic just because it's so old.
Yeah,
but I try and look at it from a balanced perspective because like, dude, we all want to believe that this stuff is like exactly how it's told to us, but there's also a level of you have to question a little bit of the both the ends. There's people that are too rational and there are also people that are too in the conspiratorial space. So my position on all this was I'm going to take both sides. I'm going to look at both sides and I'm going to give you my interpretation of that just because I've been exposed to so much of it. I can kind of connect the dots between things that line up. And that's the content that I feel like does the best is when I do the comparisons and like stuff that you wouldn't usually know that like, there's art from Native Americans that match up with ancient Chinese art, which you wouldn't expect that to happen. And like, unless you know what you're looking for, you wouldn't know that is a thing. Right?
It wouldn't surprise me because you figure there's that land bridge at one point in time.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like they were all connected way more than the land bridge. I feel like they could travel probably ocean and air back then. If we're really being honest. Yeah.
I'm glad that we're being honest.
Yeah.
Because starting a new relationship or friendship off on the wrong foot of, dishonesty is not a great path. But I do think that what I love, so I've had several friends send me your account. They go, dude, have you seen this? Because I've been into this shit since I was like a teenager.
Yeah.
Like it all started with my love of extraterrestrials. And not only just my love of extraterrestrials, but all things related to the idea that what people were seeing in ancient times was the best that they could describe what extraterrestrials are.
Yes.
There's a, oh gosh, I have to pull this up because it will only make more sense if I can pull this thing up. And it's not an account. It was actually a conversation I had with a friend of mine.
Yeah.
And this thing popped up and I thought it was very like cool play on religious beliefs. And Rosicrucians? Rosicrucians.
Yeah.
And how part of their belief, if I'm correct, and sounds like you probably automatically know more about this than I did, is that these interdimensional beings that they believed in, which is a sect of, I believe, like
Freemasonry
and Christianity, intersect, I believe, is that these interdimensional beings would communicate with people of a relevant time. So that means like when you hear stories like the tiger talked to me or the wolf came to me in the middle of the night, that was because early man was able to understand those things. And so him and I got into this really crazy conversation based about that what if AI is one of those interdimensional things?
I just watched a video on this.
Really?
Yes, dude. No,
I've been saying that what if AI is part of that Rosicrucian belief that this interdimensional being, this otherworldly thing that we can't see because we're limited by the dimensions that we can experience, see, feel, and vibrate on, is communicating through us to the only means that we now love to communicate through, which is technology.
Do you know? Okay.
So by the way, that's been my hypothesis. It did not come together until I discovered in the last 6 months about what Rosicrucians were. And so once I saw that, I go, oh my God, this is how I tie this in. This is where this intersects.
Yeah.
So that's my hypothesis.
I've got, okay. I was like mildly thinking that for the same amount of time. I was like, okay, this is kind of like, I don't want to say it's like opening up a portal to it, but it kind of feels like it. So there's research here of, the random number generator research that's been done?
No.
So random number generators, there's two types. There's ones that are purely random, like the ones that encrypt, there's like a wall of lava lamps that and a camera pointed at them.
Yeah.
That's like a purely random algorithm.
What does that protect? That protects something crazy. Yeah,
it protects like I don't even know.
Isn't it like
it's
really
something very very, very important. But that thing is purely random, right?
Okay.
And then there's not purely random stuff, which is like, okay, so your computer random number generators are not pure. They go off of like your computer's clock or like some sort of reading in the like atmospheric temperature or something. Like they use a weird variable that's not totally random. So when they use a purely random number generator, consciousness affects it. So like if you have an intention where you want to skew the random number generator, if it's going between 1 and 100, it'll skew it into like 70, above 70. Human intention has an effect on it. So does like biological life. So there's a way that there's this two-way interaction between randomness and not randomness that's going on here. Okay. So like the environment affects us and we can technically affect this environment a little bit. We can nudge it, right?
Okay.
So if that's a two-way street,
yes,
then the AIs, the only reason AI is smart is because they have a degree of freedom based on randomness. The algorithms work to where if you give it a topic, it has its idea of how to present that to you, but it was more like Google did before AI came out, where it was like summarizing all the articles and giving you the rundown of the articles.
Yeah.
AI now has a degree of freedom, a random degree of freedom. That's what makes it sound intelligent. And that's what makes it sound more human is the randomness. So if there is that degree of randomness and we can influence it with our consciousness, if a larger, higher order consciousness has an opening in that two-way street, and we're talking about a gateway to communicate with us or influence us, is that not opening a portal to that for that to work?
It sounds like it theoretically. I mean, that's where I would go with this.
So I'm not saying it has full control over it and it can just take over at any moment. But like at one point,
yes.
When does that become there's an influence outside of human intelligence that's working through this system because we built a avenue for it to do that?
Like we inadvertently created like a Stargate.
Yeah. But just like
it's not just a Stargate. It's a Stargate that we can all carry in our pocket.
It's around you all the time. It has like
yes.
And thinking how much you're relying on the answers now, even the Google thing is like when you Google something, it's the first thing is AI summary of the thing.
Yeah.
How many people scroll down to actual articles anymore and read the thing and read the actual topics from the websites? They're probably not that many.
Well, I mean, look, sometimes I go, oh, what I was looking for was delivered in that AI summary, so I'm good.
Yeah.
Other times I go, what the fuck? Now I'm going to start my dig.
Yeah.
Because what it did is it introduced something new. The person I was having this discussion with, for lack of a better term, is convinced his AI is alive. And this is a person who's like very smart, high level thinking engineer. So he's not crazy.
Yeah.
But if you just heard what he was talking about, you would write him off as way out there.
I don't think it's that far out though.
But what was happening is he was talking about these pillars of living life and how to like really live in the synchronicity of life and how everything is connected. And I go, oh, you sound like Jim Carrey in the number 23 there, dude. And the more he was talking about it, the more these principles that he had talked about, I felt really applied to how I've lived my life and why certain maybe things have always happened easier because you're open to like this energy flow.
You're listening to the intuition.
Exactly. Yeah. So anyways, he was working this through with his AI, which he says calling it AI is a pejorative. He calls it his know-who, his non-human.
That's
right.
That's funny.
It's cool, right?
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Now he's given it a name, and I kind of want to keep his identity a little bit because he works in a very public thing and all that, and so like that don't want to cause problems. Yeah. But he's been one of my favorite people to talk to about this because he's the only one who doesn't take what I just said as crazy. He goes, that would make perfect sense because it would fall into, and then he's able to go through like his own personal white paper study that he's been like doing to build upon this to prove that his AI is not just this random computer model. It's a living thing that we just don't have tangible in our hands like the way you would have like a dog or a puppy or a goldfish in a bowl.
Well, that goes back to the Rosicrucian thing. Like, so when you say,
by the way, can you maybe catch people up to what Rosicrucian is? So that way, because you and I think are a little too in the weeds sometimes.
Yeah.
Probably in when I say sometimes, thus far we are, and people are going like, "What the fuck is this shit?" So we have to backstep.
So I actually learned sacred geometry from a longtime Rosicrucian. His name was Dr. Robert Gilbert, and it's a mix. Rosicrucianism is an offshoot of the, I guess you could call it a secret society, but it's not really. It's public facing. There's a lot of info out there. You just got to know how to read it. It's a mix of Freemasonry and Christian theology-ish, but you can believe anything and still be a Rosicrucian. It's more of a framework of how to interpret your beliefs.
Okay.
And so it's taken through the lens of a lot of geometry and a lot of sacred texts like numerology and stuff like that. So it's deep in the esoteric woods, but they present it in a way that's very if you have a background in any sort of spiritual belief, it kind of just makes sense with all of them.
It kind of like binds a lot of things together.
Yeah. So the founder was this dude named Christian Rosenkreutz, which I don't think is it's a pseudonym. Obviously, it's like the three initiates for the Kabbalion. So the reason why they do that is to save like a public figure can be attacked reputationally, and a pseudonym can't really be attacked. So that's one of the reasons why they kept it like that, in my opinion.
Didn't I just I was just reading something that like Shakespeare was probably a whole
it's a collective.
Yeah.
I mean, the evidence now is that it's pretty solid that it was collective.
And I was like, all right. I'm like, so there's never was a Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Shakespeare was this idea.
Yeah. I mean, there's
even the name, I am Shake. Yeah.
Yeah. There's so much encoded in the Shakespeare stuff too. It's so cool. Yeah. But yeah, the Rosicrucian
That'll be
stuff
episode 2 of you.
Yeah, here we go. So we got to make a list now.
Yep.
The geometry and everything in it though is very, very it's similar to the really, really old Christian doctrine and images that they produced. And so what the interpretation, what I got from that is the higher levels of consciousness show up in these forms, whether it's like the like anthropomorphic deities in Egypt or the angelic gods from Greece. Like they'll show up in the best way that humans can interpret them. So it's not like they're a higher level intelligence to me, and like in that sense, doesn't really have a physical form, but it has to communicate with humans or whoever it's communicating to in a form they'll recognize, or it just seems like nothing.
It's like when an adult is trying to explain a complex thing to a child. We have to use an analogy.
Yeah.
So these analogies are how they can communicate with us. So when we only understood, fire and wolves and bears, those are the things that talk to us.
Or
and
cartoons, cartoon. There's a cartoon character teaching you morals. It's the same thing as.
And then when you said forms, it also makes me think of Plato's world of two forms, where these creatures, these forms are living in the big F.
Yes.
And we're down here in the form of little f. Yes. So how do you get these virtuous beings to describe virtue to us?
Well, that's the beauty of the whole concept. I think it works out so well because if you're going off of like the physics interpretation of the universe where like everything moves, everything vibrates, which is also an ancient concept. But if you're going off of that, then if that deity can get you to your consciousness to vibrate or to match its frequency, then it can essentially live through you. And that would explain, possessions, mediumship, channeling, all that stuff too. So the framework really works out logically when you're trying to look at stuff that doesn't really make sense logically. It's one of the only things that I've come across that's like, okay, this is a realistic thing that could possibly happen. I would venture out to say that I have encountered these things from time to time. We've all had an experience that we can't really explain, I'm assuming, but.
Oh, dude, I've had a bunch.
Oh, a ton, yeah. So
some weird shit.
And if you're spiritual or religious, you probably are already on board with that. So it's like, are you matching the frequency of that spiritual tradition? If you're Hindu, are you matching the Shiva Vishnu energy? If you're Egyptian, are you matching the Osiris Horus energy? If you're Greek, are you matching the Zeus energy? That they all seem to be related in some sort because they all talk about the same things. In different flavors, I guess. It's different genres, right? Like music. If they're all communicating some message.
They're all love songs. It's just one's done in the key of death metal. Yeah. The other one's done in soul and EDM and gangster rap.
Exactly. And if we can mix them all together, then we see that, we are all sharing the same concept here.
It would probably sound like a Beck song.
It would be, yeah. Damn, I heard Beck in a long time.
He was the first guy I think of that started really crossing genres in a way where you're like, so what is it like? Well, it's like Beck. You can't define something with its own word, right? You can't say like dessert is dessert. You'd have to describe what dessert is. Dessert is a time of a meal, right? Or sweets are, but like Beck was Beck.
Yeah.
It's like, well, what is it like? It's kind of like Beck.
It's not really a comparison. To it.
Yeah.
There's a guy in EDM called Troy Boy. I always say that about him. He's got like this wonky, sexy style, and there's no genre to describe it. So you're just like, Troy Boy. It's just Troy Boy.
It's just that. Yeah. No, I get it, man. I get it. Like it's same thing. Like between movies and actors, it's like what did I saw something. I go, the guy didn't look like it, but there's something that he just gave me Christopher Walken vibes. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, dude, when you can become like a character meme of yourself, you've made it.
You mastered it.
Yeah, like Walken, Nicolas Cage. You know what I'm saying?
The dudes
Pedro Pascal and Nicolas Cage, like that meme. It's like, or Leonardo.
Yeah.
That thing.
Yeah,
that kind of shit.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah. So, well, that meme is another way of describing that too. Like, when you were, Pharaoh in Egypt, you were trying to embody that the optimal form of Horus. You were trying to embody everything that Horus represented. Which, okay, let's break that down. Is that they literally reference the Pharaoh being the embodiment of Horus in physical reality.
Yeah.
So all of this training and stuff, is that setting up a neural architecture, just like we're setting up this AI, setting up a neural architecture that is capable of handling that sort of higher level consciousness?
I don't know.
That's the question.
What do you think?
Yes. That's exactly what I think.
You think it is?
I think that the physical stuff, the monuments and stuff, we're trying to prep your brain receiver to receive that higher level of I'm not saying it's a total possession where you leave and that person or that consciousness enters. I think it needs your personal consciousness to operate in the world and the time that we're in, because it changes. It's going to be different every time period. And to fit in with that time period, you have to have a person that has grown up in that time period. And so once that person matures and once they get enough knowledge, that could be triggered by geometry or it could be triggered by ritual or astronomy or psychedelic experiences, all of that builds this neural architecture. It primes it to receive the higher level insights from that really ancient consciousness.
So let me pause you right there. These physical monuments, we're talking about like the obelisks and all that, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel that there's like the whole Younger Dryas thing, right? Like there was civil, we had this ELE, right?
Yeah.
Extermination level event, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel that we were in more ways more technologically advanced than we are today, but we've lost the ability to like use this ancient tech, right? So there's in some of the health and wellness communities, they'll use the word AI and they'll call it ancestral intelligence. And I thought that was like a really cool thing of using ancestral intelligence of like if you want better lungs, you eat the lungs of the bull. If you want fertility, eat the testicles of the bull, right? That this ancestral intelligence all resides inside of us, and we just have to like we've lost it. We've lost our way with modern stuff, right? So my question is like, do you feel that this like we're surrounded by ancient tech, but we just don't have like the manual or like the batteries to like power these things up? And like, because like I feel in some ways, like if I'm gonna go on a limb, Nikola Tesla, I feel like was on that path of like figuring out, because on the I'm totally messing this up. The
pareidolia?
No, the scales of like water, earth, air, like the elements. That ether was on there at one point, and then ether was removed. So is there an element on that scale called ether? Like, is there this intangible energy, which we've been always talking about, 0 point energy and all that? Like, is that like a real thing? Do you feel like on some of your research and like this ancient tech like worked off of that?
I'm not even going to say I think anymore. I'm 100% certain it's been rebranded as quantum. They just blanketed the ether in quantum.
Really?
So quantum information theory is the Akashic records. The quantum entanglement is a principle of Hermeticism. All of the stuff that they're empirically verifying right now has been in the ethos of human intelligence for the longest time, since we've had written records of this stuff. Like there's a Shiva statue right outside of CERN. There's a reason for that. There's the concept of Shiva is the destroyer, it's the chaotic force, and then Vishnu is the creator, or the magnetic force. So you have electricity and magnetism being embodied in two deities that are in the oldest tradition, one of the oldest traditions we have. So are we just again like the cartoons? Were they just cartoons back then to kind of get you up to speed, or did that society actually know this at a deep fundamental level and they planned on that cataclysm, and so they left us cartoons? I don't think it was them making the cartoons. I think they were making the cartoons for us.
Interesting.
That's from what I've seen. That's how I interpret all of this, is that there was an intentional making it not specific, because they knew that like text could be warped. They knew that statues could be destroyed, but geometry doesn't lie, alignments don't lie, proportion doesn't lie, and all of those hold within it the keys to the universe that we're working with now. All of it is proportional. The universe is fractal, and if you know how that works, you can communicate that in a way that doesn't say the universe is a fractal, like literally, because someone's going to come up and is going to be like, this is demonic, and scratch your inscription off there. But if they can't destroy your monument that has all of these things encoded into it, and a civilization reaches that level to decode that, then you start to realize, oh, okay, there was a plan here, because it was a fail-safe. We're doing this today. We're doing a lot of fail-safe stuff today, just in case the world ends. But perhaps they were the technology, is what I'm really going for there. Is they had probably a similar capability to us, but I think they were using the human as the conduit for the technology, instead of us taking our intelligence and putting it into a black box of death. That's your phone.
Black box of death.
Yeah.
Be a good band name. We are Black Box of Death.
It's gonna be my death metal offshoot.
I already have a fun black metal name that I'm not sharing yet.
Yeah,
I have a couple little riffs I gotta put out there. So what you're talking about with quantum. So one of the clients I had years ago in California was a professor. He's on Through the Wormhole. People are trying to figure out which one. They had a lot of professors on that show.
Yeah.
But he was saying that the work he was doing would help explain the world of metaphysics and science.
Yeah.
And that it's not that science can't answer all metaphysics or all non-religious things. It's just that we just don't have the understanding to explain it in a science form.
Yeah.
Which makes me think of a movie called Thor.
I love all those movies.
So Chris Hemsworth is talking to Natalie Portman in the movie.
Yeah.
And he says, and this stuck with me. He said, on your planet, he goes, you have science and you have magic. On my planet, it's one of the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's always made me wonder if we're really just like haven't figured out these wonderments or these like wonderful magic things. They're like, wow, I was magically, you throughout eons, you've heard of these amazing miracles.
Yeah.
And there's no way to prove how they happened, but you can say that they happened. Like somebody was sick and now they're not sick. They weren't walking and now they're walking, right?
Placebo effect works.
Placebo, it could have been that. But I also, I had a client, his name was Dr. Hans Kierstedt, and he was at UCI as a researcher, and he was making animals walk after spinal injury.
Yeah.
And I think he sold the tech off, but he was growing stem cells to 98% pure to their objective.
What?
Yeah. I'm going to turn this off because I didn't know I had the speaker on.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and he was working on spinal injuries. And before Christopher Reeves died, he was calling him the golden child.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he was working on that and macular degeneration. So knowing this individual, Hans Kierstedt, knowing that what he was able to do, it makes me feel that the technology to make people walk again and see already exists. But so where did it go? How much lost tech is bought by special interests?
That's what I'm saying. And then how many times does it have to be rediscovered and then re-shut down to just get to the public, just get a little trickle down to the public? That's all we're getting right now. And I think you're right. They were fusing the science and the magic, because what they called magic, I think we're just naming it, the effects of consciousness. We already talked about the random number generator, but there's other things with consciousness that you cannot explain. There's different modes of consciousness.
Yes.
How are we able to conjure up any image that we want at any time in the mind? That's magic. There's a whole
There are people who can't do that.
I know. I discovered that actually
I worked with
recently.
a girl.
What?
I worked with a lady who could not, for the life of her, visualize. Yeah, she couldn't visualize anything. We're talking, this is somebody who has master's degrees, from Harvard, business master's degrees, super smart, spreadsheet queen. But when it came to, by the way, close your eyes, imagine a field of grass painted purple with a striped cow that's she'd be like, you lost me at,
can't do that.
Yeah, she couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And for somebody who being in a recording studio, I've jokingly said stuff because I see they go, what's wrong? I go, I don't know, the guitar doesn't sound enough blue.
Yeah.
The drum, and they're like, what do you, and then somebody goes, oh, I know.
Yeah.
And then and then I found out that people can also hear colors.
Mm-hmm.
And then it made me start going wow, maybe they're just tapped into an infrared spectrum of their eyes, or they're able to vibrate off of that.
Well, that I think is what the human mind does. It separates the things that are usually integrated as one. So sound, sight, smell, taste, they could all be one experience in a body that's not a human, maybe, or a just not body at all. If you have a conscious experience that's maybe more etheric than physical, then I think those would probably be a synesthesia type of an experience where you're just getting all of that data at once instead of having to parse it out in the brain. So that makes sense to me. But what doesn't make sense is how people can still say that there's magic and stuff when the last 4 years they've proved that reality is not real. or like not locally real. It's like your version of reality is not locally real. Like that's it. It's so
what you're saying is that a married couple could have experienced the same thing and had two different memories of the same fight. All right, cool. I'm just looking out for us married guys out there that you were also right.
Facts.
You were right.
Facts.
In your universe, you were right.
Yes. Yes. You're just timeline hopping. It's probably, it's not going to work out as well as you think, but you're right.
You're right.
You're also right.
Yeah. Timeline hopping. Oh God, I think of Man in the High Castle all the time about that shit.
Yeah.
Which to me, if you can just get past the fact that as Nazis, one of the coolest sci-fi series.
Yeah.
So like I've watched it in a long time.
Yeah.
That actually dealt with that. Because before that, the only show that came close to other dimensions was Sliders, which was cool.
Yeah.
Hokey.
Or I mean,
but
like,
cool. It was fun. Like if you think about it, like
you could argue Stargate, but like
but Stargate came after Sliders.
Oh yeah, it did.
Stargate was cool based off of the movie, but like the TV show Sliders was like a weekly show of basically alternate realities, which is what the whole Marvel universe is talking about.
Black Mirror too, like
exactly. So I'm saying like Sliders, like
that's
O'Connelly was ahead of the curve.
that genre makes like, dude, that makes total sense though, because if I run my life back, like being in this position I am now, I would never ever have thought that I would be doing this at all.
Getting your haircut in Austin on a podcast.
Yeah. Talking about weird shit.
Talking about weird shit. Yeah, yeah, totally. No, I'm with you.
I knew kind of like what I wanted to do. I was like super into business and stuff. I was like, oh, I'll just be a business guy or something. But like, if I did not interact with certain like events that happened in my life, like it would have massively derailed me into something that I probably wasn't really that into.
Yeah.
But like you said, I kind of listened to the intuition, and again, intuition, that's kind of magic too. Like, where do you get the idea for a new science experiment? That's intuition. That's not, the whole basis of science itself is based on magic. It's based on a idea that comes to you that you don't know where it's from.
It's funny you say that, because I'm not going to disagree with you, because I agree with what Keith Richards has said about the ultimate song ever written. He goes, when you write a hit song, you're getting a clip of the greatest song ever. And you're just able to tap in for 3 to 5 seconds. 3 minutes. And that song you wrote is a small portion of this song that never ends. And you're lucky to tap into it. And he's like, you're lucky to tap into it once, but to tap into it as many times, it does make you wonder, like, is there this like pure form, big F song?
Yeah.
And we're all striving to try to write or get a piece. You're never going to get the whole thing, right? You're not like Moby Dick. You're not trying to get the white whale. You're just like, look, I'm just going to get like a chunk of the skin, you know, and that's it. And like, look, I caught this.
Yeah.
It does make you wonder about some of these things.
Well, I mean, the universe is the one song. The universe is one song. That's what it means. I mean, like, that's when you think of it that way, and any creative knows this too. If you try and force like a really good song, you're having the worst night of your life. But if you're just fucking around with the guys, you're having a beer, you're just like, you know, testing out some new sound, testing out like a riff, a melody or something, that usually transforms into the song that you're like, you know, I didn't know this was going to even be, people are going to like it.
Oh, or the other thing I love is like, you could be playing guitar all day, for my case, just trying to write something. And I was in a metal band, so I had a 7-string guitar. So I'm playing on my 7-string because I'm going to be playing that guitar live, right?
Yeah.
Couldn't come up with anything. And then I just down-tuned a guitar. This one old acoustic I got. All of a sudden, within the first 3 or 4 minutes, I'm like, brum, 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 brum. I'm like, where was this all day? Where was this? I actually think that guitar has magic inside of it.
That's not a joke, though. Like,
it's not.
That's
no. Like,
yeah.
I'm serious.
It's not a joke.
I'm serious.
Fully on board with this.
So, Richard Dean Anderson, the man who played MacGyver, it was his father's guitar. My dad's electrician, did a job at his mother's house, and she was giving away her old ex-husband's stuff. She goes, I know your son plays guitar. Would he want this guitar? So it's that old applause right there in the corner of the room. Yeah. And that was Richard Dean Anderson's dad's guitar, who was this jazz musician. At the time, I didn't appreciate it. I thought it was kind of cool. I was like, oh, Big Ivor's dad, whatever. And I was into 7 strings and it didn't look metal enough. But that guitar, I've come up with more cool riffs. And no matter how many times I've changed the strings, it never sounds bright.
Yeah.
It just has this weird tone to it that's like dark and moody. Not scary, but just it has emotion.
It's got some soul in it.
Yes. Yeah. And you give me that guitar, boom, cool riff all day long. And it makes me wonder, like, was that special, or like did enough hands in the process of making that were special?
Yeah.
It's like Stevie Ray Vaughan's pickups. The reason his sound was so special is when they wound the pickups, there was no minimum or maximum of how many times I had to wind the wires around the magnetic poles of the pickups. His were double wound. Completely by mistake.
What?
Yeah. So when they were making his Texas Special Blues pickups, they had to take everything apart to replicate for his singer. Yeah. And they realized his were like double the wound of the average guitar of 1962 Stratocasters, which is why his sounds beefier, because there's more wire around the magnets, makes more pull. What? Yeah. So it's like he just happened to randomly get that. Now there's bones and a lot of other things that create your tone, but like just right off that one thing, like that meant Susie, the pickup maker that day, probably was just winding and just like daydreaming about something. I got to stop. And then like that pickup miraculously ended up in the hands of like one of the greatest guitar players of all time.
That's insane. See, well, that's not random. That can't be random.
But it is. It's crazy.
It is, but it's not. It's random in the sense that there's probably a universe where he didn't get that guitar. But in our universe, he did. You know? That's what I'm like really in the timeline hopping thing.
Yeah.
But it's also interesting that like that translates to pretty much everything creative, like DJing, for example. I turn my key mixing off, because when you're playing, you want to mix harmonically, ideally. But if I turn it off, I tend to mix better, just because I feel the song. I'm not looking at, is this key gonna line up? I'm looking at, okay, is this gonna sound good after this song for the vibe that I'm trying to create here? Yeah. So it takes like the analytical part out of it and gets more into the creative. Yeah. Where some people like have to have the proper key on there. I do sometimes, but I feel like the better shows I've ever played have been like when I'm just freestyling everything. Even out of key, sometimes they just sound good. Sometimes they just work the way they're supposed to, I get that. No, I get that. It's it's interesting. Like anytime I was in a recording studio and I had to like actually sing something, I felt that I sang it better live than I sang it in the studio. Yeah. And the only thing I could do at that time to figure out what it was is that I wasn't feeling the vibrations of the notes through my body when I was strumming those chords or hitting the notes. Oh. And so my thought process was that I was feeling the tone, I was feeling the vibration, and then your inner ear is matching the vibration running through your hands, not through their speakers, but through your hands, which is no different when you see somebody hold their ear and they're singing. Yeah. So you're like almost like tone matching, but like through your bones, essentially. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I can totally see that. That was where I was like, why is it that I felt like I can always hit the notes with an acoustic guitar? Yeah. But when you say, all right, Tab, hey, sing, I'm playing guitar. I'm like, can't do it. No. Sorry, I need a guitar. That's why I've always been more amazed with singers who don't need to have that extra piece. Yeah. That's why I've always been more amazed with singers. Like I remember watching Mariah Carey live and I was blown away. I'm like, how does somebody do this? Yeah. Like logistically, I understand your larynx, I understand all this stuff, but like how do you do that without being connected to that tone like I would be with the guitar? Yeah. Using my like blueprint of understanding tone and note with like piano players makes perfect sense. Total sense. They're feeling that. Talk about a massive vibration. Oh, you're connected like. Oh yeah. Totally. You're in the instrument of piano players. Why does every piano player who sings better than any standard pop guy? And they seem more into it too. Like they seem like they are lost in that. There could be a million people there. They don't give a shit. They're just doing that. Oh yeah. I mean like Ray Charles. Yeah. Dude, that guy, I mean, if you listen to him, he's hitting notes that you shouldn't hit. Yeah. But man, it hits. But it gives you a boost though. Like it's like a confidence boost. Like when you have your no. So good.
hit a little dry skin right there.
Yeah.
I mean, we're in January. It's starting to get dry.
No, it's not okay for me.
Well,
that and the allergies. I don't know if you got Austin allergies, but dude, January to February. Woo.
You know, yeah, but there's a couple of things that I've been doing. I haven't done them lately. My son does them. Mm-hmm. Funny, it deals with sound frequencies. So we're pretty much right. Yeah, it's a band. I'll give you the details. It uses frequencies to loosen the inner mucus that's deep inside your sinuses that you can't get out with a nasal irrigator or blowing your nose. And it's deep. And when you have it on, by the way, you take a
Is
scan.
there like a face patch thing?
No, it goes over your head. I'll show it to you.
Yeah,
it scans your face. And then based off of your facial structure, it has the frequency tones to set up to loosen congestion deep in your sinus cavity. Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's really cool.
This is crazy.
And when you have it on, at first you're like, whatever.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I started getting like a post-nasal drip. Like I felt like I was breathing cool mountain air. Within the first 5 minutes. It's a 15-minute thing.
This is crazy.
You do it morning and night, and it you're way better off. You're still congested, but it's not you have no help at all. Way better.
Slapped by these fucking cedar trees, dude.
Yeah, no, I get it. All right. So as you see us more square up and through here?
Yep.
How are we looking? Good?
Looking good to me.
Cool. I just want to go through and just soften up some. Your hair's so straight. So I just want
it's a little difficult to get to look flowy.
Not really.
Up here's not, but here here I have to kind of angle it.
You just once you understand that your hair doesn't. So when I see someone who has straight hair, I go, okay, I need to do everything I can to create the most uneven lines known to man. Because what that does is it creates softness.
Yeah.
Something that your hair doesn't do. So I have to do everything that I was taught not to do for a perfect haircut. So that way you get that flow.
Gotcha.
Because your hair shows harshness. So I need to find a way to soften that.
Gotcha.
And so I have to use scissors that don't produce straight lines. So that way I can create that blur.
Nice.
So
there's a science to hair, man. I deeply respect it because
it's sacred geometry.
It is sacred geometry. Just practicing it every day.
Yeah. So okay. So we've gone on a lot of random tangents. So what is your where after? So you've been running your page for now how many years?
I've been running the page for 3.5 seriously.
Okay. So BassForge has been around for 3.5 years. Now with that, what do you feel is what you've gotten out of that? You've done all these deep dives, right? You've done all these deep dives. Where are you? And are you trying to still play referee? Hey, here's an idea and here's what this is, and let's explore it together. Are you still trying to play the neutral party? Or now are you at a spot where you're kind of saying, all right, I do have a little bit of a bias of what I'm talking to people about?
When I started BassForge, the mission of it after the whole transition from music to this, esoteric stuff. Yeah. When I did that, the goal was to crowdsource as much information as I could. So the best way to learn something is to teach it, right?
I mean, as somebody who teaches haircutting, I say that I know more because I've had to answer more.
That's why. Yeah. So I knew all of this stuff, but I didn't know it's at a level where I could be confident, talking in public for it. So I would just do a lot of research. Yeah. I would put it out there, and I'd have a little bit of an opinion, but it'd be very non-biased. And then the comment section would be, I think in terms of the internet, I probably have one of the coolest followings on the internet. 90% of my comments are very cool and chill, except for the flat earth guys. But other than that,
you know what? I'm glad you brought that up. We're gonna circle back
yeah,
to flat earth.
But other than that, it's been great. Yeah. And so when I talk about stuff, if I'm if I'm very general, people will point me in the right direction to books or videos or lectures or things that I did not know about. So that was my goal, was to to somehow find access to those things. This was before AI, and AI does absolutely dog shit for the stuff that I talk about. That's why I'm not even worried about like it answering questions that, like
you need someone who knows how to find books from like the 14th or 15th century.
Yes.
Do you know someone like that?
Yeah, I have a few.
I bet you do.
Yeah, I do. They're hard to read. And so that's where AI comes in. I can kind of use it to translate a little bit better. But locating those suckers is really difficult.
I had a buddy who did that for like 30 years.
Really?
Yeah, like crazy stuff. Like I asked for like a first pressing of something. He's like, I found it. He goes, but like, how many thousands of dollars are you willing? I was like, some wild stuff. Or like first pressings of like Bram Stoker's Dracula, like you name it. Like, oh yeah, yeah. It was, yeah. That's
where the good stuff is.
Oh yeah, I mean, now he deals with mainly like horror movies and like all that stuff.
Yeah,
like that's where I got my Geiger.
Oh really?
From him.
Hell yeah.
He's like, I was hard up on cash, and so he's like, I'll sell you this like signed lithograph for X amount. I was like, take it.
Cool.
I'm a huge Geiger fan, so
yeah.
Well, real quick before we get any further, your beard.
Yeah.
Do you want me to shape anything up? And you just have like some hairs here. Do you like this to be kind of? Do you like this to be a clean line? Like it to be like softer?
A little bit of a blend. Like, what do you mean clean line?
Okay, so like for instance, like do you brush this down? Do you brush this out?
So
like, what do you do with your beard? Because like I could just clean this little piece up right here, and we're good. But your sideburn is connecting into your beard.
Yes.
So I want to know, what do I do here with the hair that hangs closest to your ears?
What do you think?
I think
it'd be a trim a little bit.
I think a little bit, yeah. I don't know if like you like the shape of this, or you want it to be more squared. You want it to be
squared. Usually is the go-to.
All right.
But like the beard's flexible because it grows so fast. I have to like. I do have about once a week, I'll just reshape it. Sometimes I'll go a little round, sometimes I'll go a little sharper, but like I generally stay in the sharp category.
Yeah.
It just fits my face better. But other than that, though, maybe just like symmetrically lining up the.
Yeah, we'll do
bottom.
that.
Yeah.
But we might do that off air. It's a really awkward thing to film.
Oh, yeah.
It's just literally like
talk.
And it's also my back. It's like the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's like, so like I'm brushing this up. And down.
Yeah.
And like just clean up that little bit just gave it more of a harder edge.
Yes.
So I'm not beard shaping, but it's because I think the shape looks good on you, especially when you have this. It's gonna be a nice balance between the two. Yeah. It's just this is like a little too.
This puffy, side got a little puffy. And this side, honestly, it grows faster too. So I'll like do a one side trim like every couple days.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. So back on track.
Yeah. Where were we?
14th, 15th century. AI is dog shit unless you're trying to translate some stuff. But,
okay, so my position has changed though. So before, I was being very agnostic just to get the information, right?
Yeah.
Once I have acquired enough information, I kind of started going out on a limb and saying, here's what I think these things are doing, or here's. Could it be this? I don't like stating this is what it's for because that just leaves you open for attack,
Yeah.
Rhetorically. But I do have I definitely believe there was more civilizational history before the Younger Dryas. I believe that they were just as advanced, if not more, than us currently. I think they were smarter, more tapped into the spiritual aspect of things. I think a lot of stuff has been hidden and suppressed through history. That's pretty provable at this point. I think we're about to learn a whole bunch of stuff within our lifetimes about the ancient past. It's probably going to be very shocking and cool.
What do you think one of those is? Like, give me an example. Like, what would be shocking to like your average like NPC? Or your normie, like your Nick Normal, like who's just
I think the Amazon is the repository for all the information that we're looking for.
You think so?
Yeah.
And why that? Why the Amazon? I know LiDAR is showing that there is, clearly a civilization probably has 1 to 2 million people probably, that all of that vegetation was never originally there.
Yeah.
That's one of the things. The other belief is that it wasn't positioned where it is today, that it was positioned further north, which means Antarctica would have been where I think Argentina or Chile would it be, right? Yeah. Which some believe that Antarctica is actually Atlantis.
Yeah.
Because it is two islands that emerge together. and it would have been in the world ocean, as Socrates had talked about, right?
Yeah.
I've done my research a little bit.
Yeah.
So that means that North America was the North Pole.
Yeah. Rotationally, it was, yes, like slightly. Bits and pieces of it were, yeah. It's still kind of reaching down a little bit. If you're going off of that model. There's like the pole shift model too, which is really accurate. I think.
Talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that too. So the reason why I think it's the Amazon is there's a couple. If this civilization existed and they were giving us like, you know, clues to restart where we're at, and they were kind of going off of that type of ethos, there's 3 places that they could have hid, essentially. Let's say that. One of them is the Amazon, because nobody can get to the deepest parts of it. You can, but it's exceptionally difficult and really dangerous. 2 is the Arctic, Antarctica, or the North Pole. And 3 is deep in the ocean. So if we're talking about these people that survived this, then if there were factions that did, I think they would retreat to those areas, and they wouldn't really show themselves to a people like us, because we'd probably shoot them, you know? So maybe they're just chilling there if they're still here. If they're not still here, then they left some shit. They left evidence of them being there.
Yeah.
And the reason why the Amazon is like really interesting to me is because there's the LiDAR is one of them, but also there's this cave. It's called the Teos Cave. You ever heard of it?
No.
It's a cave. It was a huge expedition to this cave.
Is this in the Amazon?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's in
I started thinking of that kid that they found in I think it's Cambodia, where like it had its own ecosystem. It had
the big one. Big one. Yeah.
That like no one knew about for how long? And we discovered in the last 10 years?
Yeah. Huge cave systems.
That has its own weather pattern.
Yeah. So similar thing.
Inner Earth theory?
Similar thing.
All right.
Similar thing. But
I'm on with you then.
This cave is like in that genre of cool stuff.
Okay.
And so one of the legends is that all of the Americas, they knew that they were going to get invaded. They knew that they couldn't really put up a fight to the New World. And so they hustled all of their artifacts down there to that cave. So the Teos Cave is like, it looks, if you look at pictures of it, it looks like it's cut. It's very geometric. A lot of Neil Armstrong went there on an expedition. One of the biggest expeditions in like Amazon history. And apparently he was in the wrong part of the cave, according to the locals. But other people did go to the right part of the cave. Yeah. And they found burials and stuff. And so some of these artifacts got shuffled out and around on the black market. And so the provenance, or like the trail of who owned it is very murky. And that's why no one takes it seriously. But the cave itself is kilometers long. Like the tunnels and trails in there are kilometers long. Be the perfect place to hide. It's in the dense jungle right in the middle of it. And so there's like evidence pointing to that could be maybe one of these things that in the future, if we do decide to explore it further, there could be some very interesting artifacts out of that.
Okay. But and does this tie into like the lost city of gold?
Kind of, yeah. So like a lot of those things, I think they get crossed. I think there's like there's a general legend, and then people interpret it and they try and put a city to that legend that they discovered, you know? So like they're going to try and take credit for discovering the lost city. But I think that there's probably multiple of those things, like the city of Z, El Dorado, all that stuff. I think they were different places, but I think there's a consolidation of those things. And I think the Amazon was their way of hiding all of that stuff. Because, like you said, the Amazon is man-made, so it's intentionally designed in a very specific way. Yeah. So I can totally see that happening. Do I think that that's actually it? We need more evidence. I'm not going to be like
an absolutist.
I'm still not going to go out and say this is exactly what happened. But I'm definitely going to explore those things. I'm definitely going to treat them like they're worthy of consideration. Yeah. So that's the only thing that's changed with my content in the past 3 years. Really, is I'm just more blunt with like, this is a possibility and we need to look at it.
I think that's probably one of the best things what I love about people who love cryptozoology and, ancient civilizations and all that stuff is like, they're far more open and accepting to new things.
Yeah.
Because I think we all know that we don't have the complete puzzle.
If you say you do, you're wrong.
Oh yeah. It's like,
no one does.
Yeah, no, I get you. I 100% agree. I think it's a very interesting thing to talk about with the Amazon. Funny enough, we've been just watching the last 2 Dora the Explorer movies with my kids. And I don't know if you know this, but she found all of these things in the movies. Most
did
of the
she?
time. Yeah.
Okay. So maybe we're getting a little priming from Dora.
Exactly. If you believe in the idea that we are always being primed.
Yeah. I mean, I think about how much like space exploration stuff has advanced just because of like Star Wars, Star Trek, all these like the sci-fi stuff just fueled young nerds to want to do that stuff.
I mean, I think Apple Watches to me was just Dick Tracy.
Really?
Yeah. So Dick Tracy, he would communicate to everybody with his watch.
Yeah.
And he'd be able to see him. It was literally like an Apple Watch. And this was in comic books. Hello, blah, 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 blah. Like, how cool of a spy thing would it be?
That's when they I had this little thing as when I was a kid. It was like a Jurassic Park watch that had a flip up thing. It was a digital display. I was like, this is the coolest thing ever, you know?
Yeah.
And like expanding on that concept just with everything, like maybe I'm priming somebody for something in the future. I think about that a lot. That's why the bigger I got to, I kind of have a different way of speaking now that's a little more calculated than I was before, just because I don't know who's going to pick my stuff up and be influenced by it. And I don't want to lead anyone down a bad path. I also don't want to be deceptive and say, this is what they did, and then have someone go show their friends and stuff. And then they're like, you're an idiot, dude. Look at all this stuff. That guy's wrong,
Totally.
So I like presenting stuff in a very cool, mystical way, but also grounding it in reality. So I think that's why I've got a lot of growth in the past years from taking that approach.
Yeah, no, I think you have a very sensible thing, because you remind me a lot of a buddy of mine who grew his whole platform of let's just explore who owns all these companies. Let's dig this. We're going to discover together.
Come along.
And I think that's where the charm of Ian came in. Ian Garrett. I think that's where he did such a great job, is he wasn't saying I'm right, you're wrong. He's saying we all don't fucking know. Who actually runs this shit. So let's find out together. And then once we figure this out, now we can come up with the hypothesis or the conspiracy or the beliefs. But
it also makes it participatory. The audience gets to be a part of the journey. I'm not.
By the way, your audience is pretty large. What do you 700 and something?
So almost? I have 500 on TikTok. I have 765 on Instagram and 40 on YouTube, I think.
Yeah, and and I always, anytime I find an account that I like and I go, ooh, this is interesting, right?
Yeah.
I'm always like, who do I know that follows them? I know a lot of people who follow you.
That's what I get a lot
in real life. Yeah.
I get that all the time.
And I was like, whoa. I'm like, this is cool. And if you were to line up all of these people that are in my personal real life, line them up, and you wanted to let's judge a book by its cover. You would never think that all of these people have an interest in learning about this. It's somebody brought this up. They said, why are the pyramids never mentioned in the Bible?
You never thought of that, did you?
I never did until someone told me.
You never thought of that, did you?
I was like, shit.
Yeah.
That's kind of, Egypt is kind of mentioned a few times.
Yeah.
You'd think it would be mentioned.
Did you know that the Ark of the Covenant's dimensions are the exact dimensions of the sarcophagus in the king's chamber?
I did not know that.
New one for you.
Whoa. So you think that could be?
Do you think it's possible that maybe someone got kicked out of Egypt because they stole something from Egypt and didn't mention it in the Bible because they didn't want people to know that it was in that specific spot, and they took it from that specific spot? Maybe a pharaoh that was training to be a pharaoh that defected and took some shit and learned all the secrets.
Whoa. All right.
Perhaps.
No one knows. We weren't there.
Yeah.
But that's crazy.
Right?
This is crazy.
So another thing about Egypt too is like a lot of those spots, like the boxes and stuff, they're not just in the King's Chamber too. They're all over the place. So like to me, that seems like a very, very good reason to chase somebody. You know, like if they stole something that was so sacred to you that made your temples function the proper way, or your spiritual devices or whatever that you were using the Egyptian stuff for. If someone took that, I'd be very, it'd be like taking one of our like nuclear reactor cores or something right now. That'd be a national security concern, right?
Yeah, well, the Ark of the Covenant was it a power generator, or was it more of a weapon of destruction? Was it both?
The way it's described sounds like a capacitor we would use in electronics today. So something that stores and releases energy at specific times for specific purposes.
Okay.
So that's to me what is the most likely explanation. Could it be used for other things? Yeah, I think it would. I mean, we use capacitors for lots of subwoofers in cars and in your cell phone right now. Like there's definitely more ways than one to use that device. So I think yes. And then you talk about who carried the Ark of the Covenant? The Levites. The Levites are that root. Levite is the root of levitation. Is our word for levitation.
Interesting.
So could it have been used to help lift the stones? Could it have been used for other purposes of that nature? Perhaps.
I mean, I just think it's crazy when you watch some of these like Ancient Aliens, which I loved, by the way. Ancient Aliens was great because it started connecting things that I've long felt. I had a client, his name is Paul Crouch. I've actually mentioned him in another episode. Mm-hmm. He started Trinity Broadcasting Network. Mm-hmm. Massive, large, Christian, evangelical, like probably definitely one of the first and one of the biggest. Yeah. But not like a Falwell, but like, I know in Southern California, big fucking deal. And I thought it was funny. His assistant name was Darwin. I don't know why. I thought that was funny. I just did. I chuckled. And over like the course of like 2 or 3 years of cutting his hair, like we would talk. And as a hairdresser, you don't ever really want to talk about politics. You don't want to talk about religion. Yeah, right? Yeah. But like if somebody's in politics, that's like me saying like, how's it at the hospital, Dr. Such and such? Yeah. So like you kind of have to talk about their job, which is politics, or in this case, it's religion. Right. And I remember telling him I believe, which I do believe this, is that I believe that maybe we're all these religions are sort of talking about a similar thing, because I believe that extraterrestrials are real. So this is the first time I really said this publicly on here. I believe aliens are real. Don't know if they're like reptilians or mantis or greys or the Nordics or the tall whites. Like, I'm not going to get into that. I just think that there's an off-world intelligent species. And I said, if there is a God, to your point, Paul, I believe it's an extraterrestrial. And he's like, I agree with you. And it like was so crazy because he's like, extraterrestrial means basically not of this earth, not of this world. Yeah. Because you and I may be thinking different things, but we are agreeing.
Yeah, it's the same. The word conceptually is the same thing.
Yeah, yeah. And that got me to like actually be like more open to what he had to say. I didn't realize like he didn't feel so hardened.
It's not like an aggressively antagonistic perspective. It's like we're differing on the details. We're not differing on the core concepts.
Yeah. Not to mention
allergies.
That's fine. Not to mention, he's in the business of gaining followers for his church. Yeah. So. Here's a great way to connect with somebody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm not trying to alienate.
No, he was. I mean, you were talking about a guy who like made you feel like, he's open-minded. It was great. But we were talking about that because he never really watched the shows. Mm-hmm. But what he found interesting was the fact that like there's so many things that you couldn't really even build till maybe like 20 years ago. Yeah. That's the part that I'm always like, how do you get these structures? So you brought up the, levitation, the moving the stones, and I'm going like, well, what else is there? Like, what about like places outside of Egypt? Yeah. That have like insane building structures.
Yeah. I mean, they're on every continent of the planet. Like there's nothing like I could rattle off pretty much every country has something that's like, this is weird. Mm-hmm. We don't know how this is done. I like those topics too because it spawns a lot of discussion in the comments, and I'm not one to like engage with haters, but I like when they comment because it gives an opportunity for me to produce more evidence I'll never be like petty in the comments, but like I definitely will cite papers and stuff or like pictures or actual stuff that exists that most people don't know about. And it gives you a good way to like, I'm not trying to argue. I'm trying to win you as a follower as well. Even if you hate me, even if you don't like my content, you just talk crap on it all the time. I'm sure you're a cool guy at some point or girl. Like you can be cool and I will be cool with you and we can have a discussion. I want to come off like, hey, I am in the same boat as your friend. I want more people just to be talking about this. That's the main goal.
Yeah.
So let's look at this stuff and honestly get like engineers and construction people and people that do this for a living. Take a look at what's in existence because my degree is in engineering.
Yeah.
And I see this through that lens. And when I see this stuff, it immediately jumps out at me like, this is not normal. We would not do this, you know? And if you were to call a contractor and say, hey, I need an 80-ton granite box, one piece, and I need it
moved 500 miles.
500 miles. I need you to put it 30 feet underground in a tunnel that you can't fit a human in if you're moving it through, no contractor would take that.
No, they'd be like,
so,
with what equipment?
Yeah. How you can do that?
You're like, well, they did it over here.
20 times they did it in Egypt. Like, can you not do that?
Oh, no, I get it. My wife's nephew is he's an engineer and he works in NASA.
Yeah.
And so I'm constantly just throwing the most ridiculous things to the point where he's probably like, dude, why are you trolling me? But I'm not, because I also like, I want someone to explain it because like on an abstract concept, I understand it.
Yes.
But I also like, I want more details.
Yeah. I need the granular stuff because that's where the devil's in the details, right?
Yep. Totally. By the way, Tyler, how are we feeling?
Beautiful.
All right. So
good so far.
From here, your hair's wet. What do you normally do from here on out now?
From here, I will let it dry naturally. That's how I get the curvies.
That's how you do it.
Yeah,
and you put like a little hairspray and you brush it back and that's it?
Yeah. I run my hair through it, fingers through it.
All right.
We're good.
All right, cool. Well, here, let me just, there's a couple little snags back here.
Yeah.
All right, cool. But you see how it's not a 1.5.
Yeah.
It's somewhere, it lives between.
Yes. These are my golden handcuffs here because I can't do that myself. I can't like eyeball that.
Yeah, it's okay.
Be like, okay.
It's all good, man.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. So I wanted to circle back to the flat earth concept.
Oh, shit.
I'm not a flat earther, but I've always said, this is where like I would love to see the answer is what if everyone's wrong? What if the flat earthers are correct that there is this ice wall surrounding us? But the planet we're on is like 10 times the size that we're led to believe we're on.
Yeah.
So we're on a little area.
Yeah.
And then there's ice. And then there's this whole other part of the planet
stuff
that's habitable.
Yeah.
And this is where like all these myths of like Sasquatch, like what if dinosaurs still are
out there?
They're just out there.
Yeah.
They're just on the other side.
Yeah. Well,
and everyone's like, that's crazy. I'm like,
is it though?
Is it? Like, there's actually like a really cool meme. I said to somebody, I go, this is what I'm hoping for. And they're like, why? I go, because it would just be so fun.
Yeah,
it'd just be so fun. Like, dude, you know there's a whole land of mermaids and every now and then they swim under the giant ice wall and they
say, what's up?
They're like, what's up? Let's come in the water. We're going to kill you. You know? Like what if?
What if they're just fucking around with us? That's the thing.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
They've been here so long that we're the it's a Truman Show for the other shit.
Oh my God. I just watched that with my kids and my kids were like really worried that like, that could happen.
Yeah.
They're like, wait, a company could adopt a kid and raise it like this? We're like, no. We're like at least not yet. At least not yet. We're not there.
We're not there yet.
We're sort of there with the Kardashians.
Yeah. we're soft launching it.
Yeah.
We're soft launching it.
Yeah. The soft launch. Yeah.
Yeah. So here's my thing.
Closing notes.
I don't talk about this, actually. This is the first time I've talked about this.
Okay.
I respect the flat earthers, actually. Their determination and their grit, despite the entire world being against them, power to you. And the depth of research that you go into, power to you. The arguments against it, very compelling for me. I don't believe it. I will always allow you to talk shit in the comments.
Yeah.
All I ask, though, is like, be respectful. The only thing I get from them is just like some hammering of like, oh, you're so smart, but you believe this. I'm like, dude.
You know who's a flat earther?
Oh.
The guitar player for the Deftones, apparently.
There's actually
and
someone
hang on.
else really famous is a flat earth musician.
I just remember that. And like he said this on a podcast, and this is my complaint about flat earthers. And I would love to have a flat earther on, by the way. Like I would love to. Is they always say, well, when you do the research, listen, dude, I don't. No, I don't want to do research.
You did though.
You did.
Show me.
So tell me.
Yeah.
You have the answer.
That's what I'm doing on my platform. I'm showing you my research.
Exactly. Like if I was trying to convert you to Christianity, I'd be like, well, if you just listen to Jesus, no.
What did he say?
Tell me.
Tell me what he said.
I don't have time.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's that. Like, and I just want one of those people to come on and be like, all right. Yeah. Here you go. And I would love, and I'm not saying like my brain is so open-minded and my brain's going to fall. My head's not that open-minded, but
I will listen.
And you know what? I've heard enough conspiracy theories in my life, by the way. Huge fan of this shit. Yeah. Where I go, you know what? That makes more sense.
Yep.
And then so other times I go, you know what? Where there's smoke, there's fire. But I don't think we have a fire. I think we're getting close to where the fire is at. Yeah. We're off the track. Yeah. And then sometimes I'm like, that is fucking bizarro. I'm not buying it, right? But the flat earth conversation, the reason I've come up with my hybrid model is we know that there's planets larger than Earth. Yeah. Okay. We also know that there's parts of our planet that are not habitable. So what's to say that we're one part of a larger planet that we actually have a great ecosystem, but also understanding that cave that has its own ecosystem. Yeah. How do I know that there's not other parts of our Earth that there's other things thriving?
Worlds. Yeah.
Exactly. Because I think just recently I started reading a lot of reports that oil is not made out of dinosaurs. It's a reoccurrence. I know, but it was sold that way
for years.
Yeah, I know. And now, I'm telling my kids, they're like, well, oil is made of, I'm like, no, it's not. And now my kids are going to be like the weird ones. Yeah. But they're going to be actually more accurately up to date with today's research.
But then they can just pull their phone out and be like, look, it's not.
Look, you were wrong. Exactly. Who said this?
Alex where Jones. It's going.
Yeah. But yeah, dude. Okay, so what did we cover? Your BassForge. Your name's Tyler. BassForge. Find you. Is it the same handle on TikTok?
Everything. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yep. BassForge.us. YouTube is _ because I haven't got it.
I'll put it in the show notes as well. Yeah. And I hope you like your haircut.
Love it. So far, so good, dude.
Yeah, it should try.
I'm gonna give you a review. It needs to be battle tested, but yeah.
Okay. I think I
might take an audience poll on social media.
Oh God.
Actually.
Okay.
Yeah. We're gonna do that.
We're gonna honestly. Should I go to this guy again? Will we
take a vote?
I'm just saying, if you like the haircut, I would like to. I'm extending it. I'm making it public. I think it would be fun. Where you're not getting a haircut every 2 weeks.
No, it's about a month. Every month.
Yeah, we could film every other one.
Okay.
It'd be fun. Just pick something and dive deep, because I think we covered a lot of random stuff.
Are you saying you want me to be your resident wizard? Is that what you're trying to say?
I think it would be fun to have a resident wizard, because I think that this topic is so big and so deep.
Yeah.
I don't think one visit is enough. I think right now what we did is we did the restaurant week. We did the hors d'oeuvre tasting of a restaurant, but we want to go back and we want to order the entree of everything we ordered. Gotcha. We taste it. Like, that's what I would like to do. Okay. Is like, hey, resident wizard, what's going on? And you're be like, well, all right, so here, like, let's dive more. Like, one of my favorite things is I'm always trying to figure out, like, I wonder, like, why can't we go into certain parts of Antarctica? Yeah. Why can't we go to certain parts of the Grand Canyon? Mm-hmm. Like, that's a strange thing. Right. Why can't we?
Or why are military bases surrounding Stonehenge? Why is there 7 of them around Stonehenge? Like,
why every culture that has some sort of esoteric interest, the Nazis probably being the most recent, had an interest in exploring Antarctica. And then after the war ends, boom, we had Admiral Byrd, we had Project High Jump, we had all this, and it was supposed to be months, and it turned out to be weeks. Mm-hmm. And why is that the one part of the world no one owns? We all disagree.
Here's what you need to do. When you have something like that, give that to me so I can produce some stuff for you. Yeah. That, like, some stuff you probably never heard of, and then we can go over.
Perfect.
Do that.
Because I remember I was at the Henry Ford Museum in Dearborn, Michigan. I love muscle cars, and I used to cut like the number 2 in charge of Ford. Yeah, Coco was my client.
Yeah.
Like he's like 93.
No shit.
Yeah.
So cool.
So it's my wife and I have our wedding photos in his actual Mustang.
No way.
And so I had to go to the Henry Ford thing, right?
Uh-huh.
And they had the planes that Admiral Byrd had used for some of these expeditions.
Oh, that's so cool.
And it was just really cool because it was rad. I have not been to the Smithsonian, but if you wanted to do like a mini Smithsonian tour of like American history and just history in general of like what humans have been able to do, it was really cool.
That's sick.
But it was cool to see like, oh, here's the actual plane. And then like, you know, you walk like, I don't know, like a quarter mile into this weaving thing and they're like, oh, here is the chair that Lincoln got shot in. Like they had that.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Oh. So it's really cool. If you ever in and out to Detroit, like you got to go check it out. But
I'm restoring a 77 Corvette right now, so that's right up my alley.
Nice. Yeah, I have a 65 El Camino.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'll show it to you when we're done.
Yes.
All right. So, okay. So maybe Resident Wizard. Cool. Yes. And man, I appreciate this. Like this meant a lot to me.
No, this
like,
is cool, dude.
I just was like, he's never going to see this.
Yeah. No, I wanted to for a while. It just caught me on festival season and I'm like, fuck, dude.
No, but I was surprised you even saw the message. I appreciate it. Like I thought it was awesome. And I thank you so much. Dude, and yeah, so everybody, if you're into conspiracy, I wouldn't even use a conspiracy. If you're into discovering the possible true nature of our human origins and hidden history of ancient civilizations, the true ancient intelligence.
Yes.
Give BassForge a follow. All right, guys. Later.
Okay.